we're looking at the European economic crisis from on the ground in Athens. I'm David Gillen reporting for Business Day Live. We've got a report from international correspondent Liz Alderman about the situation in Greece, and we'll be getting the view from the street from Athens. But first, we've been getting details about a sex discrimination lawsuit in Silicon Valley, and it highlights a broader trend, the lack of women in top jobs throughout the tech sector. Joining me now is technology reporter Nicole Proroth.
Hi, David.
Hi. This suit involved a partner at Kleiner Perkins, a big VC, blue chip VC firm, big early investor in Google and so forth. To leave aside the particulars of the case and get to this bigger question, why are there so few women in top jobs in Silicon Valley?
It's a problem that Silicon Valley struggles with, I think, especially because they have such a big culture of meritocracy. And at the same time, there's so few women. So you look at the numbers and it's something like 14% of VCs are women, only 6% of tech CEOs are women. Women on the board of technology companies, I think you get even fewer.
Right.
And there's a host of reasons for this, and I find some of them all a little unsatisfying. You know, some people suggest that even when they have tried to bring women in, none have applied.
Right. There have been some big names. I mean, you've got Carly Fiorina, Sheryl Sandberg at Facebook. I was wondering, though, some of this seems so surprising because a lot of the new startups, and Facebook is a good example, are attracting a lot of women as users, more women than men as users. Is it partly that women don't see many role models aside from the likes of a Sheryl Sandberg?
I think Sheryl is a new role model for sure. I think it's interesting because coming back to the VC model, you have something like 1 in 9 venture capital investment partners are women. And then you look at the ratio of the startup founders that these firms are backing, and it's the exact same ratio. So the question is, if all these startups, especially in e-commerce, are drawing so many females as users, why aren't we seeing more female investors? Why aren't we seeing more female founders getting backing from these same firms? And what's interesting about this suit is that Kleiner is one of the only top venture capital firms that has women partners. Now,
that's what I was going to say. You know, they make a big deal of that.
They do.
And there are some out there, some big names that have no women at all as investment partners. But Kleiner has 9, I think, or out of their 38 or 30 odd. And I'm wondering how this then is being read in Silicon Valley. I mean, this partner is making the all too common claim of unwanted sexual advances. I mean, how is Silicon Valley looking at this suit now?
It's really interesting because I think you're right. Kleiner markets this fact about themselves to entrepreneurs, to reporters. You hear about it from them. You see it on their website. They say, look at all these other venture capital firms. They don't have a single female investment partner. Look at us. We have 9 female beautiful faces on our website. This suit is bringing up the fact that actually when you look at the share of profits, this partner has accused the firm of saying, you aren't divvying this up in an equal fashion. I think a lot of women I spoke to yesterday around the Valley said their number one fear with this suit is it's going to have a chilling effect. Chilling effect at the male firms that say, see, we were right never to bring women into the firm, and a chilling effect on women who say, this is an uncomfortable environment to work in, I'm not even going to apply, which gets back to what we were talking about earlier about how there are so few women applying for these jobs.
Exactly. Well, we'll be keeping an eye on this one. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks, David.
So we'll be turning now from Silicon Valley to Greece, where fears are increasing that the country might default on its government debt or even leave the Eurozone. The party that won an election earlier this month has signaled a willingness to abandon a bailout deal with the EU, and the leader of that party, Alexis Tsipras, has tried to assuage those concerns.
I have repeated many times that the elections on June 17th do not mean that we will be leaving the Eurozone. On the contrary, it means a great chance to save the euro. Continuing the policy of austerity and lending memorandums are a big problem. If the memorandum is being continued like this, Greece will need a third bailout package within a few months.
But as Liz Alderman reports from Athens, investors and businesses remain skeptical.
Since elections were held here earlier this month, maverick politician Alexis Tsipras kind of was catapulted to power. He has talked about repudiating the terms of Greece's international bailout, which is a scenario that many people fear could lead to a default. And if the Troika, which manages Greece's bailout, can't see eye to eye with him, a lot of people are concerned that that might possibly presage an exit from the euro, which in fact really nobody in Greece wants to happen.
Why
Nor do any
not?
leaders.
I thought that exiting from the euro was sort of the easy route for getting rid of Greece's major debt.
Some people have argued that if Greece were to exit from the euro and return to the drachma, that this would allow Greece to control its own destiny. However, many other people are warning that that would actually be nothing but a disaster, mainly because the Greek economy, unlike others, doesn't have a huge amount of exports that would allow the economy to sort of turn around. Basically, being cut free would be devastating for Greece's image as a country to do business with. And at a time when this country and other countries in the Eurozone need growth more than anything and actually need to once again try to get competitive, this is something that a lot of people here would see as an Armageddon scenario.
Are there ways in which these businesses or government agencies or consumers for that matter have been trying to prepare for this possibility?
A lot of people have told me that it is almost impossible to prepare for the possibility of a return either to the drachma or to some kind of parallel currency that would allow effectively Greece to sort of stay within the Eurozone. Already we've seen a lot of international businesses that have ties here in Greece, such as Vodafone, Pfizer, et cetera, start to take precautions, for instance, by sort of sweeping euro profits that they make on a daily basis back to their own country to protect themselves.
So the concerns are not only about reputation, it's also about concerns over inflation, right, and social unrest.
Inflation, as you say, would shoot up significantly. Again, if the drachma were to be devalued by, say, about 50 to 70%, and yet people are stuck with bills in euros, 85% of Greek businesses are really sort of family operations with an average of only about 10 people. Already many Greek businesses have fallen into bankruptcy, and the business groups are warning that tens of thousands of other companies could go out of business virtually overnight. They just wouldn't be able to pay their bills, they wouldn't be able to pay their suppliers or their employees. Furthermore, the banks here, which are already basically running on fumes, would be devastated. So there's concern that the banking system would effectively collapse. Greece imports about 40% of all the food consumed here, most of its medicines, and almost all of its oil and other energy supplies. There would really be no way to pay for those imports, at least in the near term. So a lot of politicians are warning that a new period of civil unrest could be ushered in if a scenario like that were to unfold.
Earlier, Business Day Live also asked several residents and business owners in Athens what they thought about a possible withdrawal from the euro. This is what they had to say.
Greece going back to the drachma would mean a lot of poverty for the Greeks, would mean that many businesses will collapse. That's something that Greece didn't face since the Second World War. Exiting the Eurozone would be a problem not even only for Greece, but also for all the European countries. It might trigger a chain reaction that would affect the whole world. For me personally, my own business would go down because I have many contracts with Greek companies. If these companies stop operating, then that would mean that I don't have these contracts anymore. Greek companies would be unreliable partners to do business with.
Έχει μειωθεί το βιωτικό επίπεδο σχεδόν όλων μας, οπότε κοιτάζουμε ίσως να είναι και καλό να βγούμε και από το ευρώ, ίσως, δεν ξέρω. Γιατί δεν βλέπω και μέλλον, όπως είμαστε τώρα δεν βλέπω και μέλλον, αν συνεχίσουμε έτσι. Γιατί πιστεύω και ποτέ δεν ήταν η Ευρώπη δεν ήταν και ποτέ ενωμένη, δεν υπάρχει ας πούμε Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση κατά εμένα, απλώς συμφωνίες είναι αυτό, τίποτα άλλο. Δεν υπάρχει πραγματική ένωση.
Θεωρώ ότι η Ελλάδα πρέπει να μείνει στο ευρώ. Το θέμα είναι το τι θυσίες θα πρέπει να γίνουν και σε τι βαθμό για να μπορέσουμε να μείνουμε στο ευρώ. Στο δικό μας το χώρο που είναι τα πετρελοειδή και εξαρτούνται 100% από εισαγωγές, είναι το θέμα το κατά πόσο οι μεγάλες επεκταδηληστήρια στην προκειμένη περίπτωση θα μπορούν να έχουν τη δυνατότητα να εισάγουν την πρώτη ύλη, το πετρέλαιο, αν θα μπορούν να έχουν δανειοδότηση για να πληρώνουν το πετρέλαιο στους προμηθευτές, και σίγουρα θα υπάρχει μια μεγάλη δυσκολία σε ό,τι αφορά το θέμα της διακίνησης, με την έννοια ότι εάν οι ποσότητες είναι μικρότερες από τη ζήτηση θα υπάρχει θέμα, είτε με κάποιο δελτίο στα καύσιμα, είτε με πιο υψηλές τιμές. Γενικότερα ο κλάδος θα έχει δυσκολία, όπως και κάθε εισαγωγικός κλάδος.
Αστέρι μου, φεγγάρι μου, της άνοιξης κλονάρι μου.
Είναι αν μπορεί ότι θα πρέπει να αλλάξει η Ευρώπη πάρα πολλά πράγματα, να σταθεί σε μια πιο κοινωνική πολιτική, για να μπορέσει να επιβιώσει ο λαός. Συνεπώς, η άποψή μου είναι ότι θα πρέπει να μείνουμε στο ευρώ, αλλά όχι με τους όρους τους σημερινούς. Δεν με να γυρίσουμε στη δραχμή θα βιώσουμε άσχημες καταστάσεις, αλλά μπορεί να μας δημιουργηθούν και ευκαιρίες. Τι να πούμε, από τη μια μεριά, ξέρεις, ακούγονται ότι σε μια τέτοια περίπτωση θα μπορέσει ίσως να δημιουργήσουν επενδυτικές ευκαιρίες για ανθρώπους να έρθουν απ' έξω στην Ελλάδα για διάφορους λόγους. Από την άλλη μεριά, λέγεται ότι θα μειωθούν οι μισθοί μας στο 50%, θα χάσουμε δηλαδή την αγοραστική μας δύναμη, θα πέσουν οι μισθοί. Δεν μπορείς να ξέρεις, δεν μπορεί να δώσεις μια σαφή απάντηση. Είναι πάρα πολύ δύσκολο.
That's all for today, but stick with us online at nytimes.com for our continuing coverage of this and other stories. I'm David Gillen reporting for Business Day Live. Thanks for watching.